Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for November 10th. November 10th is the 314th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 315th in leap years, with 51 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is impromptu. Impromptu can be an adjective, an adverb, or a noun. As an adjective, impromptu means done without being planned, organized, or rehearsed, such as an impromptu press conference. As an adverb, impromptu means without being planned, organized, or rehearsed, such as he spoke impromptu. As a noun, impromptu means something that is impromptu, perhaps a short piece of instrumental music reminiscent of an improvisation. Impromptu comes to us through French, originally from Latin. First known use of the word impromptu is 1764 as an adjective and 1683 as a noun. Impromptu. And with that, the United States Marine Corps was founded in Philadelphia on November 10th, 1775. In the late 1790s, during the French Revolution, the French decided to establish a state-sponsored atheistic religion to replace the Catholic religion. They decided to call it the Cult of Reason, and on November 10th, 1793, a goddess of reason was proclaimed. On the one hand, the Cult of Reason religion seemed to honor liberty and nature, and on the other hand, it seemed very disorderly. Its proponents made efforts to remove and destroy any symbols of religion, like crosses and statues. They decided to have an event they called the Festival of Reason, during which churches across France were transformed into temples of reason. To avoid statuary and idolatry, goddess figures were portrayed by living women, girls and young women dressed in flowing white dresses, Roman style, who danced around a woman portraying the goddess of liberty. They called it a cult of reason, but it sounds a little bit more like a cult of I do what I want, rather than practicing much in the way of actual reason. The cult of reason was replaced a little over a year after its inception with a new deistic religion in 1794, the Cult of the Supreme Being, another state religion. Humans may be hardwired to follow some kind of faith, but I think that separation of church and state is always a better idea. Once Napoleon Bonaparte came into power, he said enough of this nonsense and banned these cults with his Law on Cults in 1801. The Eagles are a rock band that formed up in 1971. We've mentioned them fairly recently. Initially composed of Don Henley, Bernie Leadon, Randy Meisner, and the late great Glenn Frey, may he rest in peace, they released their first album, self-titled Eagles, in 1972. These guys have put out a lot of great music over the years. Their 1979 album, The Long Run, would be their last studio album, as they disbanded in 1980 for a while. They would get back together later on and experience a few changes in personnel, but what we really want to talk about today is their song Heartache Tonight, a single from their Long Run album. Heartache Tonight hit the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 on November 10th, 1979. Great sounds, great music, these guys. Heartache Tonight by the Eagles, #1, November 10th, 1979. Link in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That playlist lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page. It's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Flinging happiness all over the place. Alrighty, back to work. I think we got it this time.